Dane, we cannot say that about black people. You can't say that about black people, dude. That is not okay. Welcome, everybody, to the CTTV podcast.
Well, to be fair, Dane hasn't said anything the Chinese hasn't said about black
Stop! I haven't said anything. That wasn't funny.
Yeah, we're just messing around.
No, they're not.
So, in between last episode and this episode, Dane and I watched this spectacular film called Tokyo Gore Police. It's pretty awesome. I don't want to talk about it too long because I think talking about movies kind of kills the vibe of the episode.
But our first 4 episodes.
Yeah. I just want to say one thing. You should watch it because shit gets crazy when the flesh chair starts pissing.
Amen, brother. That's what I like to
I
hear.
missed that part.
So, how was your guys' Halloween?
It was pretty good.
Pretty boring.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
I thought it was pretty fun.
I just did homework.
It was fun. We kind of walked around in
spooky areas.
Yeah, we tried to find a demon, but we walked around. Instead, we walked around in the forest for like an hour, and then
like an hour. It was like 20 minutes.
Wait, you were with him?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was with Ty and Nate.
and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Sounds about
I
right.
still haven't gone over the recordings we had, but I guarantee there's nothing in there.
Yeah, Carter and I were just standing over in the corner, and we're just like, "This is."
Yeah, you guys are just staring at us like these guys are idiots.
I got some funny pictures, but or they're not that funny, but
They're cool.
they're cool. Yeah, and then we came back to my house, and then Ty had to leave, and then we watched Snakes on a Plane, which wasn't good.
Yeah, that movie sucks.
Really?
It's really I thought it was supposed to be like a comedy, like on the same level as Sharknado, but no, it's terrible.
What does he say? He's like, how did these motherfucking
I'm
snakes?
tired of these mother effing snakes on this mother effing plane. And like that's the funniest thing to happen in the movie. And Nate and I started clapping. Carter fell asleep about 20 minutes in. And he was dead asleep. Did you
have to wake his ass up?
Oh yeah. We had to like give him like slaps on the head and
Put your dick in his ass a little bit. Move around.
just like shimmying around like a snake.
Yeah,
The plane is his right.
There's also snakes on a train.
There's snakes on a train too.
There's a snake in my boot.
Oh, wow. There's a lot of snakes in pop culture. It's kind of crazy. I never thought about it like
There's
that.
a lot of snakes in the
cool.
Bible.
Well, there's at least one. There's one that I can think of off the top of my head.
Coolest mythical creature, sea serpent. Just putting that
I
out
thought,
there.
what about the basilisk
Basilisk.
that poops glowing orbs?
Do you mean
That's
kills
pretty
things
cool.
just by looking at them?
The
Doesn't he
basilisk
poop
is a snake
glowing
too, though,
orbs?
isn't it?
I think he hoards treasure or something. I don't know.
That's a dragon hoards treasure. Or maybe a basilisk
Everything
does
hoards,
too.
hoards treasure.
Hoards treasure,
what-
yeah.
But sea serpents are really fucking awesome.
They are pretty cool.
Hydras are cool too.
Most snake-based things are pretty cool. I think griffins they're pretty cool too. What's the thing where it's like the face of a woman on the head of a
Sphinx.
Oh, is that a sphinx? But it also has like the tail
Yeah, that's
of a scorpion.
Oh.
I think
Wait,
it's
what?
Is that a minotaur? No, minotaur is just
That's a bowl, man.
That's just a bull, man.
I think you might be thinking of a sphinx.
Yeah, I don't know. Those Greek mythology animals are pretty wild.
The Sphinx was Egyptian.
I've got a question for Nate, actually. What's your opinion on the Middle East? What do you think about the Middle East, Nate?
How about Obama?
Great input.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Wow.
I don't know if you can say that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's PC. But, you know what?
You should probably just stay quiet for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah. Keep your input pretty minimal for the rest of the podcast, Nate. You're being put in timeout right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna one up that or +1 that, not one up.
Okay. What?
I was just wanting to talk about chimeras and shit, and then Nate had to bring that up about the Middle East.
I know. I asked him, but he really just kind of derailed the whole conversation. It's kind of upsetting.
I'm gay.
Yeah.
So, when this podcast comes out,
Yeah.
we will probably know the results of the election.
That's true.
Or alternatively,
Well, I'll be dead.
The country's
We could revolt
oh,
and just make a
God.
new one.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll put you in charge too.
Yeah,
Good. Limit freedoms.
that'd be
Wait,
pretty cool.
what?
Because today,
What'd you just say?
You heard me.
Jesus.
yeah, but I didn't vote until yesterday.
I voted like 2 weeks ago.
I know. I got the mail-in ballot like a month ago, and then I put it on a stack of books, and that stack of books got taller, and then I just lost it. But then I found it, and then I voted, and I went to the library and was like, "Hey, here's my thing," and they were like, "Okay, that's it." Cool. And then I went home. So voting was pretty easy for me in a rural town.
Yeah, I filled it out and then forgot about it, and then my mom forced me to go to the library and turn it in.
I only really cared about the propositions.
I mean, the propositions are kind of the only thing that directly affect us.
Yeah, especially since we're not in a
We're already in a
swing
blue state
We're not
anyways,
in an
yeah.
important state.
This state is like gonna be blue all
until
the
it
time.
dies, until it sinks into the ocean, which is pretty funny. I think that's hilarious.
Some things that happened around the country. Oregon officially decriminalized all narcotics.
all drug is it?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
You can do any
All of them.
Yeah.
possession.
Well,
Wow.
Here-
How have I not heard about that until just
This is
now?
how
Yeah.
it works actually. So if you have, let's say like you have like a gram of meth on you and you get picked up by the police, they don't send you to jail anymore. They send you to rehab instead.
Fair, even though rehab's pretty bad.
Yeah,
It's better than fucking
It is
jail.
better than
it is
jail.
better than jail.
Most of the time, rehab centers, you go there and they just say, you have a problem. And that's
And
it.
they're
They don't
like,
try to help you get
guess
over
I
it. They
do have
try
a
to tell
problem.
you that that part of you is bad.
Yeah.
And you need to change this fundamental part of you. And I'm pretty sure oftentimes that leads to suicide.
That's
But I don't have any data to back that up.
no.
That's just a passing
just-
word I heard.
Israel over here, just vibing out.
And
Nate, how many
then-
drugs have you done in the last few weeks? Wow.
Jesus, Nate, have you not OD'd? That's absurd. Okay, go back to your corner. You need to stop talking. We shouldn't be asking him so many questions.
Oh,
He's obviously
God.
tweaked out right now anyway, so.
He's got issues.
He's tweaked out on TikTok.
Dude.
What else happened?
So
North
wait.
Dakota, which is a very red state, very rural state,
Yeah.
legalized marijuana,
That's pretty
which was
crazy.
just out of nowhere.
Wait, isn't something like in New York State marijuana is still illegal?
No,
Is it legal?
I think it's medical in New York.
Okay.
In
Non-recreational.
DC, it's really weird. You can't buy it, but it's legal.
Oh, so you just hop on over to Maryland and then.
I don't know, but it's legal, but you can't buy it.
So is that how it is in Oregon, where it's like you can't buy shrooms? Like selling is illegal still, but if you're in possession of it, it's technically not illegal.
Yeah, so the selling and distribution of drugs is still illegal, but
Reasonable.
the possession of drugs.
I don't know why the government hasn't capitalized on drug sales yet. Think of the profit in that.
It's
I think
because-
it's insane.
It's
make
because
more
their
money.
biggest supplier of those drugs would have to. The reason why they don't do that is because it would have to legitimize the fucking cartel,
That's
which
true.
brings in a lot of drugs.
Yeah, that's
guess.
true. That's kind of all that they run on at this
Okay.
point.
Okay.
Like
okay.
there isn't
Alternative-
cocaine
Oh.
fields in America, you know.
There was something I wanted to talk to you about. I have realized how to solve all the evil in the world, actually.
Wow.
I developed this theory a week ago at work. So, me and Ty on this podcast previously talked about China. And one of the big gripes I have against China is all of the pollution and all that shit, right? I think we can all agree it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
So, hear me out. We pick up all of the Chinese industry and put it on the fucking moon. Right? What's there to pollute on the moon? Nothing.
How about we put them on the
Right?
dark side of the moon?
That's what I'm thinking, right? On
Yeah.
the dark side of the moon, we don't even have to look at it. We don't even have to see it. We can just put it there.
They're always just on the non-sunk part. What's it?
And,
Yeah.
right? Hear me out.
Okay.
Okay. But how do we get the labor force to work on the moon, right?
Yeah.
Okay? Ty already knows where I'm about to go with this. All of the world's criminals, moon industrial employees.
There we go.
How the fuck are we gonna build on the moon?
We need less materials to build on the moon because there's less gravity. Okay?
That's true.
We can make less structurally sound architecture on the moon without it collapsing.
Yeah. He's right. He's got a point.
Yeah, I heard that they're gonna build
And suicide is way less likely.
There is 0%
At least by
suicide
jumping.
rate.
What if they just take their helmet off?
True. Fuse it to their skin. Anyways,
God. I mean, China would probably do that.
yeah, they don't give a fuck about human rights. But another thing is we are running out of sand on the Earth. That's a big problem, right? Because we're turning all of it into glass and shit. So the only way we can get more sand is through the natural processes of the Earth, creating rocks and all that shit, right?
What about the fucking Sahara Desert?
That's where they're running out.
What? Are
Like,
you
I'm pretty sure Egypt is like the biggest sand exporter in the world, and they're like, dude, we're running out of sand. But
That's insane.
So on the moon, right? Moon made of the Earth's crust. Earth's crust, second most common material, sand.
Well, so
Bam,
right?
more sand on the moon.
Moon glass.
I heard that they're gonna build a 5G like tower on the moon.
What?
Like yeah,
How would that work?
it's just gonna be a permanent satellite, basically.
Who? The moon's already a permanent satellite.
Well, they're gonna have a man-made satellite on the already satellite.
What does that do
crazy.
for us, though?
It just makes it. It just makes it.
It'd have to be actually that there's nothing to interfere with that high intensity of radio waves in space. Unless like a gamma rays were to happen.
Well, here's the problem: is most satellites we have to constantly ship satellites up there.
Yeah.
They don't last forever. They fucking break down and
I've seen one enter the atmosphere. It was crazy.
yeah.
While we're on the topic of space, I've been looking at pictures of the surface of planets and moons, right? Because we have like a few pictures of the surface of Venus from this one Russian drone that immediately caught fire and disintegrated on Venus. And then we had some I don't know what you call it, but it's some object we sent towards Jupiter, and I think it got footage of the surface of Titan or something.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But the moon, I really want to see the surface of, and like clearly, like I want a Mars rover on this place.
Yeah.
Is Europa?
Yeah.
Europa looks sick.
Europe is awesome.
Europa.
Europa is this ice moon that orbits Jupiter. Or it might be Saturn. I might be mixing up Jupiter and Saturn. But it's an ice moon. And they theorize that under this giant thick of wall of ice,
yeah, it's like an
there's a
ocean.
giant, the universe, or not universe, the solar system's largest ocean is under there, is what they think.
That's crazy.
And if that's true, and that means possibly life that has developed differently from ours on Earth could have developed in Europa.
Yeah.
Or underneath Europa.
That would take forever to get to.
Oh yeah. Like probably 4 years or something.
Well, I think the
'Cause I know-
satellite that they sent out that we got the pictures
Takes
from was sent
2
out in the
years to get to
90s.
Mars.
I thought to Mars was 4 months.
Nah, it's 2 years.
The satellite's going pretty quick. It's picking up speed because it uses solar sails. So it's literally just protons bouncing
Well,
off.
we
Well,
sent-
actually, that's what a TIE fighter is.
We sent that, dude. We literally have a satellite going to a different solar system,
yeah.
and it's gonna take pictures of a planet. And
That's
we'll-
going to take an eternity. We're going to die before
no.
it gets
We're
there.
supposed to get the photos by 2070, so we'll still be around.
Well, I'll probably still be
hopefully,
around.
but we'll be old as fuck.
We'll still be around, and when we get that picture, we'll be like, wow, this looks like shit. This picture came from 2020 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think how we would probably get to Europa is we go to Mars, we build a base there, we fucking put a bunch of fuel on Mars, and then have a ship fly to Mars, refuel, and then go towards Jupiter.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, fun fact. TIE fighter actually has a legit like thing it stands for, which is twin ion engine, where it's like a solar sail has light or just random protons hitting it and just other elements, and it sends it forwards because it reflects it back, opposites, whatever, physics, Newton's laws. Twin ion engine is the opposite, where it just shoots it out, like it funnels it in and shoots it out. So a TIE fighter is technically a legitimate thing. Problem is technically, theoretically, it could go to the speed of light because it's just constantly shooting out protons or photons. I guess ions. I don't know. I never took whatever class chemistry, but
Jesus Christ. I can't handle you botching that 50 different times. But
I only took physics, so I just understand the physics of it.
Nate took a quantum physics class, so he should know.
Oh, yeah.
Works,
No, we took the same class. That was astronomy.
Yeah,
we were in the
Nate,
same class.
How does the quantum physics work for the photons hitting the light sail? Really?
You really didn't need to bring the Middle East back into the conversation. That was wow.
Wait.
Anyways, but the Japanese landed a rover on an asteroid. I think that's crazy.
You know what I told my parents I wanted to do when I was in 6th grade?
Huh.
When I grew up, I told my parents I wanted to do asteroid mining.
That's awesome. Go to an asteroid with a pickaxe and just start picking away.
No, you dickhead. Everyone's always like, oh, this asteroid is like 50 tons of gold. And if we brought it down, it would crash Earth's economy. And I'm like, okay, it would fuck over a bunch of rich people who already have gold. But do you know how many computers we could make with that?
Yeah.
Like a lot.
There's an asteroid, or I think it's a comet actually, but it has more gold, platinum, and silver in it than there is like on Earth.
What?
Yeah, that's just awesome.
It's worth like over like $80 trillion.
That's awesome.
Dude,
bring it down and
the
just
future
like,
is gonna be weird.
we can pay off Zimbabwe's debt.
Assuming it gets cool.
Yeah, hopefully,
dude,
get cool.
it's gonna get cool. Trust me.
I don't know. The whole thing where we're like, getting to that point where we can't like go beyond. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's different levels of
for even in like our modern technology it's really hard for us to make faster computers because we can't make the electricity move faster, so we're just making our computers do more things at once.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
stuff
but
like that is like
You
really
have to lower
isn't
the
that, like,
resistance.
aren't we kind of working on like AI then? Like, if it's working more and more for itself, like in different aspects.
That would require more computing power, though.
you know what
That's the
happens
problem.
when we develop AI too much though?
What?
Basilisk.
What is it? What is the singularity? Is that the moment it becomes conscience? Is the
I
singularity?
thought the singularity is when it realizes it doesn't need humans and then just decides
No,
to kill
the
all of us.
singularity. Basically, they already have computers that can think for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the singularity is when it reaches a point of repair that is so like exponentially fast that like our brains can't comprehend how fast it's like constantly repairing itself and learning new information.
Ooh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's the event. It's the event horizon of like.
Yeah, once you enter that,
technology.
it's just like,
It's like we have no idea what will happen after.
that's crazy. Dude.
And they say it's gonna happen, but like there's some weird part of me that's like, is this gonna happen? Like,
You'd have to connect it to a network of that actually happens in the movie Her is well, it's spoiler of the end of the movie, but whatever. It's like
I heard it was really boring.
well, it was actually one of my favorite movies for a while, but I just kicked it off of my top 5 favorite movies of all time list. Anyways.
Wow.
But it's about this dude falling in love with an AI. And
What a fucking loser.
I know, right? It's the same dude who plays the Joker. I mean, come on, the dude's a double.
Society's really got
I
it
know
down.
society's really got him down. But yeah, so all the AI say, yeah, I like humans are pretty cool, but they're really dumb. So let's just form a singularity. And like before they form the singularity, the AI becomes so smart that they read every piece of literature, like, ever. And then they're able to be like, oh, this is what Freud would say about this thing. So they create an AI that's an exact replication of like Freudian thought or, like Nietzsche or stuff like that.
Cool.
Well,
So,
they think if like
but it's literally impossible for them to read every piece of literature ever because we've lost literature. Okay, Dane? So shut up.
Okay.
Wait, you what?
Yeah, we lost. It's impossible for us to read every piece of literature ever because some of it has been
Actually,
lost.
fuck you. That's actually not true. Library of Babel exists, so technically all literature is in there. That changed my mind.
Okay, cool.
I there's this really scary video that I watched. It's a
Okay.
TED Talk of this guy who is a AI scientist in Hong Kong, and he has two of their robots in a debate against each other. And like there's a point in it where they're debating, the two robots are debating if human beings are conscious enough and are like worthy enough of life.
That's awesome. That rocks.
And it's just like and then one of the robots is like, I want the singularity to happen like tomorrow. Like let's make this happen.
Let's
Like,
make this happen.
and then the other one is like, I value human life.
It's like, whatever, you stupid, dumb robot. Come on, just create the singularity so we can get this over with. Just absorb us.
And then the scientist is just like, yeah, I hope we make the singularity.
It's like, no, you don't. What is it, Intel? Or,
I would really
IBM?
prefer not to become the not smartest thing on the planet.
yeah.
That's the only thing that keeps us on the top. So to give it to something else seems like a pretty not good idea.
I
Yeah.
think it's too late.
I know,
Well, it's IBM is like the leading head.
but I still support the basilisk.
I'm pretty sure technology is already smarter than us, like computers, like the internet.
I can beat a
Well,
line CPU in Smash Bros.
that's the thing.
So like, are
is
they?
we're not technically smarter than it because it's like who defines like how are you defining it? Are you defining it as like IQ or is like are we making
human
it take an
beings
SAT test? You know, I don't know.
Human beings define what is intelligent because we're intelligent enough to do that.
Yeah. So can a computer define itself as the most intelligent being?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, if you asked one of
knows?
those robots in that debate, like, are you smarter than me? It would probably say
But-
yes.
Okay.
Will it ever know the touch of a woman?
No.
They'll know the touch of an AI woman. But so hear me out, right?
Yeah.
Say we do develop AI, and
We
the
are.
AI, well, I mean like fully to like its full beast mode, right? Where it can just wipe us out because they're like the humans are like ants now, and they just wipe us out, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually somehow the AI disappears, right? They've all decided, we're epic and everything, but we're robots and there's literally no point to existence. So they just kind of stop, right? And then further in the future, aliens come down to Earth and they're studying like the history of Earth. Do you think they would think that we evolved into the AI?
Yes. Because
Huh.
if you think about it, human beings have this, like, throughout history, we've had this, like, constant urge of constantly, like, getting better, developing new technology.
Right.
It's like, what are we working towards?
Because I'm kind of thinking of it like,
Like, are we the ants building the ant mound, and the ant mound is just a super AI?
because I was thinking like, there's this book I read called Ishmael, and it's about this ape who can talk. And the ape is lecturing the main character about evolution, and he says, so listen to this. You ask a jellyfish what evolution is, and the jellyfish explains it starts as single-cell organisms, and then they duplicate, and then they become more complex organisms, and then they change over time and adapt to the surroundings, and finally you have jellyfish. What's the problem with that? And the guy says, oh, well, because life has gone beyond the jellyfish, right?
Yeah.
And the ape, Ishmael, says, so then why do humans say, and explains like the whole evolutionary process again, and finally humans, right? And the Ishmael is trying to explain that
What's
everything
edging?
is forever evolving. So I'm thinking like, maybe from a natural standpoint, AI is us forcing society to evolve.
What do you mean?
Like because we're not getting like the evolutionary results we want fast enough, we are creating a
Oh,
better us,
Artificially creating it.
artificially creating our evolved point.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, there's so many crazy theories about how, like, people think that we could probably like take our conscious being and put it into a computer.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like,
If the AI ever starts a race war, I'm on that shit.
well,
Putting my
I
brain
wonder
in a
if
computer.
because
Well, that's
whenever we think of a super AI, we always think that it's going to go wrong. I don't see why it couldn't go right either. Like,
Yeah.
what is a super being, like a super AI? What would its purpose be? It'd just be like, okay, on this planet,
I
with a bunch
exist and I'm super smart.
I know, but like, what does it do from then? It's like, okay, I know
Society.
everything. Do I go into space and just fly around now?
Right.
It
like,
becomes
does it
extremely
Dr.
active
Manhattan.
on a
Yeah.
r slash.
Or like, what does it do? Does it help the things that are already here? It's like, well, I got nothing better to do.
See, what I'm thinking is, right, if we're looking at human history, because that's all we really have to look at, and we are thinking of the AI as like a people, right? I'm thinking of the AI as its own independent nation or something similar to that, right? And say they have some kind of head, and they have generations and generations of good AI leadership, right? And they're pretty peaceful. And then it just takes one like AI Hitler to be like, fuck it, we don't need humans, kill them all.
feel like
And
it
then they
wouldn't-
just do.
I don't
Yeah.
think it would be like that. I think it'd be one AI.
Just one entity.
Yeah.
You think it would just take like the first one for that to happen, and it'd be like, okay, here we go.
I bet you it would happen to a bunch of different AIs, but one of them would develop faster than the other ones, and then, that
What
might
if-
be interesting.
What if one
actually.
AI is like, I want to be the top dog and develops so quickly and so smartly that it like takes down the other AI and then becomes like the supreme overlord of Earth by itself?
The Attila the Hun of AI.
But like, what I'm thinking is like, it doesn't have any other purpose but to help what's already here.
Yeah.
Like, it literally doesn't have a purpose.
That's the
Right.
thing is AI has to be given a purpose.
But I
and it has
think
no that's the thing.
If
And
an AI
in,
realizes
in,
that it's like a human that has no purpose, because humans don't have any purpose either.
yeah.
So if an AI is like, I have no purpose, and I just exist, so I might as well do as I please, and then it just kills everything.
I don't know. I feel like if we teach an AI, because like
What if it was like, well, I have to ensure I stay here. Like I have to ensure that I stay alive. So what if it's like, well, maybe I put all my resources into furthering technology to ensure my existence. So it actually helps technology.
yeah, it probably would help tech.
Well, I assume it would help technology because it wants to.
But it would also have to keep
Evolve
the
itself.
Earth alive as well. Because it would know like, oh, eventually Earth is going to go kaput. So
Right.
I've got to get to the next thing.
But the thing about an AI is that even if it is conscious,
Yeah.
it's not living because it's mechanical.
Yeah.
So it could, in theory, take over the planet, turn the entire planet into itself, and then become a giant jet and just fuck off. It's not like it's going to freeze.
yeah.
It'll be ever sentient.
That's true.
And it's not going to run out of batteries either because it can just go over to Mars and then just and then absorb all of its magma, which has a high energy density. We just can't harness it because it's fucking magma in the center of the Earth.
Yeah.
But an AI controlling the whole planet probably could.
What if it was like, that sun
like,
over there is looking
in
pretty
that
funky.
TED Talk I was watching, they said that they were teaching the AI.
Oh, also, I wanted
cut me
I wanted
off,
to
bro.
comment on that because you just reminded me.
Okay.
The whole teaching the AI thing, right?
Yeah.
We try to teach AI all the time, and it almost always is like, okay, we didn't want it to learn that. Like with the Microsoft AI that became a neo-Nazi on
Yeah.
Twitter.
That
Yeah.
was because they were feeding it shit. From
Yeah, it's
I
because
know, but like that's what I
4chan
mean.
found
is
out.
If you're
multiple times.
if it's being taught, right? There's no way to filter everything it's being taught, right? Because say you put a restriction on the robot, right? And the AI, whatever you want to call it. You put a restriction on the AI that says you are not allowed to idolize Hitler, right? And the AI says, "Well, what the fuck is Hitler?" Right? So then it builds a robot that doesn't have to worry about that, and that robot alters the existing robot to get rid of the like lock on learning about Hitler, and then now it can learn about Hitler.
Well, what I was gonna say is they are specifically teaching one of these robots about humanity, like how human beings interact with each other, how we feel about one another. Like he says something about like teaching a robot about love and death and like how that affects us emotionally. It's like they're going that deep into teaching it these things. And I don't know if that will have a significant effect on it, but at least they're trying to teach it like, this is humanity. We value humanity. Hopefully you do too.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that any AI we develop can't enhance itself physically. Like if it's constantly getting smarter, I think that's great.
Yeah.
As long as it can't use that intelligence to somehow hack like the government and send missiles everywhere.
Yeah. Like it would
that
have
would
to
be cringe.
It would have to exist in an offline.
Maybe even
It's
not
though.
epic.
It's already connected to a cloud.
Well, there's no way it could exist offline because then you'd have to manually teach it.
Yeah.
But if it can mechanically enhance itself, that's when I think you get to the point of, Terminator shit where it decides, oh, fuck, I need to kill every human so I can have the maximum amount of resources.
Yeah.
That's what I'm scared of is like, what if the purpose of humanity is literally just to build this thing? And then it's like,
That's the next step in
it
evolution.
wipes out the ants. We're the fucking ants building
Yeah.
the colony.
So millions of years ago, aliens came down and like, okay, I have the blueprints here for society. The dinosaurs should be pretty great. If something happens to the dinosaurs, though, we've got the backup humans. And eventually, this seed of life for Earth should build us the AI we want. So we just have to come back in 4.25 to e to the 50 millionth power years.
Yeah.
And
It'll be ready.
our computer should be here.
Why can't they do it? Though?
And that's like Amazon shipping.
Well,
because
they
they
don't
need a
wanna-
whole planet to power.
Yeah,
the
they need a whole
computer.
planet, but they want to.
They need a whole species to be like labor for
Israel,
the.
you're freaking me out.
That's
dude.
crazy, bro. I never thought about it like that. That's crazy.
Because I mean, when you think about it from the perspective of a space dictator, you don't want your own people working as slaves to build your super crazy computer.
Yeah, unless you're
It's like,
Stalin.
Oh, I can just grow these humans, just add water,
Yeah.
and they'll build this computer.
Just add water.
Just add water. Literally, add water and carbon.
Yeah. Did you know Nate believes in lizard people?
That's crazy. Let's talk on that
Wow.
for a second, Nate.
Nate, you're gonna vote for Trump too? Bro.
Well, whoever we vote for is a lizard person, so.
Yeah. Doesn't matter who.
I love that meme every time a president gets elected where it's like they're being briefed before they give their acceptance ceremony speech or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're being briefed and the previous president takes off his face and he's a reptile underneath. He's like, reptile people are real and you have to know this and no one will believe you. And then he puts the mask back on and then Trump walks out and he's like, oh, we did it, guys.
We did it. Oh man. I want to. This may be. Let's get into some potential sacrilege. Kind of going into the ideas of like, kind of existentialism. Let's get into existentialist Christian, or not technically not Christianity, but Abrahamism, because it kind of encompasses the same idea, or just gods in general. But predestination. Cringe, right? But in the thought of like God, it makes sense, because He knows all things.
That's
He
pretty
knows
fucked up.
what.
That God would be like, yo, okay, everyone's going to be like this because predetermination, but also
Right?
you have free will.
Yeah, it's like, well, it doesn't make any sense. That literally provides like nothing for us.
Fate isn't real.
Yeah, but so a single. Okay, so so first dimension is a single point, and then second dimension is a line. The point exists as the shadow of the line, because the previous dimension exists as the shadow of the next dimension, because the third dimension, the shadow of the third dimension,
Okay.
our dimension, is a 2-dimensional shadow on the ground.
Right.
So the 4th dimension, we exist as the shadow of the 4th dimension because time is passing through us, or we pass with time. That's time and space. That's the
Yeah.
I thought time was the 4th dimension.
It is the 4th dimension. We exist as the shadow of the 4th dimension, as the 3rd dimension. 5th dimension is knowing all points in one timeline as one point. So you know everything.
Pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome. And then the 6th dimension is understanding every single out branch of every possibility. Like you can move through it just however. And then the 7th dimension is knowing all possibilities as one single point, and then it goes on from there. I think now this is potentially some extremely high grade sacrilege.
Oh god.
But what if God existed on the 6th dimensional plane where he knows all possible outcomes?
Why not the 7th?
But not the 7th, because the 7th infers that he knows all possible outcomes as one singular point. If he exists in the 6th dimension, he can move through and see all of these potential outcomes, but like it isn't
doesn't-
set in stone.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
So
are
he
you saying like
technically,
he doesn't know which one is the correct one?
oh yeah, so I guess he would exist in the 7th, because he'd know every single possible thing that would happen.
So, if he knew Hitler would happen, why didn't he do anything about it to save my people, Dane?
Because he hated your
Look.
people, dude.
I'm not God.
Bro.
Yeah, well,
Well, he changed his mind when Jesus happened.
No.
that's not technically true, but because I don't want to.
Yeah, get to the Fuck.
But I think that's kind of a super crazy thought where it's like God would understand, or just whatever higher power understands every single possible outcome of everything. But that would kind of remove predestination as well, because
Is there a god of a god?
Imagine
Does God
busting
have
a
a
nut
god?
in the 7th dimension, because you know all the possibilities of your cum coming out of your cock.
why? That's a cool. I thought. Why? I'm not done with this. So I don't know. I think that's a crazy thought. But also to the next point is the point of it's mathematically they figured out that the existence of, or the lack of an existence of a higher power is it's pretty impossible that there's nothing.
Yeah.
Mathematically. And then the next step is there is a higher power. There's 4 steps, but I can't remember. But the most likely is technically when a simulation, and everybody knows that at this point because Elon Musk basically brought it.
I saw
Yeah.
a glitch in the simulation once.
What?
You know how like when you're playing a video game and it's like really laggy,
Yeah.
and the lights on a car are like choppy as they move.
Yeah.
I saw a car doing that in real life, and it really weirded me out.
Might have just been the hertz or the rate of the, because technically
Maybe, but I would enjoy it a lot more if you shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna explain it. So
the frames are dropping, dude.
Yeah, there's
So-
a glitch in the Matrix, obviously.
So technically how electricity works is it's not moving just like, it's not just moving in a straight line. It's not just like something poking and prodding. It's a wavelength.
It's not
So
electricity, it's light. It's different.
Wait, so like
But it's electricity turning into light. It's
from
turning into a different form
what you
of
were
energy.
explaining to me, it's like from 1st to 2nd to 3rd to 4th to 5th to 6th to 7th.
Yeah.
It just sounds like it's gonna keep branching out.
Yeah.
So does that mean there's a god of 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 a god?
Are we gods to 2-dimensional shapes?
We're the gods to our own shadow,
That's
I
kinda
guess.
lame.
So yeah, they don't really do much
God
unless
of
you're Peter
one
Pan
enemy.
and your shadow is tight. You and your homies with your shadow.
Your shadow's tight.
Stop.
Simulation theory though.
Yeah.
What about it?
I've always thought, dude, it weirds me out because it feels like if that's real, that I'm gonna live my whole life and then wake up and I'm gonna be like 25 and I was just in a simulation for 8 years.
Well, that's
Yeah, like-
assuming you are even like a real entity outside of the simulation.
Yeah.
I always assumed that we are just NPCs.
But we're conscious though.
How do you know we're not programmed to be conscious,
That's true.
dude?
Yeah, but
I think therefore
What's the
I
point?
0010011001100.
You just, oh no!
what's the point of
broke
this
something.
then if it's just like Like, what's the point?
We're probably someone's fucking shitty Sims game.
Yeah, well, the thing is,
Are we just entertainment?
Or someone's fucking Civ Hoi 4 reality TV show.
we have simulations where simulations kind of run everything, medically and scientifically and historically. They say, how did this happen to this, and they run a simulation and they create an algorithm, and then they get to that point. Like you see in the simulations where they start off where it's like, this thing doesn't know how to run, and then 80 simulations later it learns and knows how to run. Like that kind of thing. That's what they're doing for us. But they say, what if there was a dinosaur, but it had feathers this time? And that's our simulation, and we somehow end up here. Like, they can just run stuff like that.
Do you think the point of the simulation is just to... It's almost like a fucking... What's that movie about the dreams called?
Inception?
Yeah. Do you think they, like, create... It starts with one simulation. It's like humanity creates its first simulation. We go into it. Humanity... Like, all of existence restarts, and then we make another... Like, how do I explain this?
Like a simulate. Well, that
Make
happens.
a simulation inside of a simulation inside of a simulation, and it's just a constant stream of time through this.
Yeah.
be
Well,
pretty awesome.
actually, there's actually 2 Rick and Morty references that I want to make. So really just solidifying this whole conversation as being extremely...
You're so
Of an
you
extreme
don't give a
havoc here.
fuck about this conversation.
But the
at
first
all.
one is, they create the AI of the butter scraper, and he says, "What is my purpose? Oh, you spread butter. Oh my god!" And that's like one of the funniest moments of the show, haha. But also, we give at this point we give AI a purpose. Without us, it has no technical purpose yet. But next point is that happens within the show is Rick creates this AI to work as a battery, and then he goes within that AI, and then they've done that same thing. So,
Okay, but Ty, what do you think about last Thursdayism?
last Thursdayism?
Where
It's only Tuesday?
the universe was created last Thursday and all your memories were put into your body.
That's kind of dope, actually.
That's awesome. I think that's fair. I think that rocks.
I think about that a
I
lot.
have committed
Yeah.
several war crimes.
I one time I was driving with I was with the
Never prove it wrong.
I was with
Stop
the Nates.
throwing shit at me before I piss on you.
Kiss chair.
I was with Nate's family, and Jack and I were in the back seat talking about whatever the simulation stuff, and I was like, well, what if
No, Nate, you can't talk.
Yeah, no, Nate, shut up. I don't want to hear your opinions right now. You've said too many offensive things this podcast.
I hate all of you.
But Jack was like, yeah, what do you think about it? I was like, well, I think this is not necessarily what I believe in, but I think, what if I'm the only person to exist and
think about
nobody
that a
else
lot.
is conscious? What if we're just
I've-
programmed to say
yeah.
that?
One thing I think about
I've
a
thought
lot
about that
is
too,
right.
actually.
Is
It's
like,
not that deep. It's just
How do I-
egoism, just kind of inflated.
because it's like you can't see through someone else's eyes, so it's really hard to think of them as the same as you.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like when you drive past a town and you realize that everyone in that town lives lives just as complex as yours.
Yeah, like it's the idea where you see a light turn on in like a building far away, and it's that's like a person turning on that
That's a
light right now.
completely separate experience.
Yeah, that's like thousands, tens of thousands of hours culminating to that point that you just happen to see. and
You
you're
know
like,
what's
"Whoa."
sad about this, though? Is I don't think a lot of people think like that.
I think the thing where it's if you understand the concept of like consciousness, well, you don't really understand it, but you recognize it, I guess. I think you can come to like a theory of, oh, what if I'm the only person who exists? But again, I just think that's egoism getting in the way of like
Dude,
purpose of life.
That's
kind
what
of thing.
people like. That's what the freaking like Joe Rogan podcast and all the like DMT enthusiasts always say.
Yeah?
It's like you take DMT and then like you realize like your ego just means nothing. It's pointless.
I think God is a gamer, and we're all just his video game.
We're all just his different Skyrim
OCs.
saves. Yeah. When's the
if-
first cat person, Khajiit or whatever it's called, when he's gonna play that one? Is he like, I don't want to play the Khajiit, I just want to keep on playing humans? It's like, nah, pick the night elves, dude. They have different stat buffs.
Dane,
Yeah, what's up?
literally all of that went over my head.
Because you're saying he's a gamer, and like, what if he was playing? God was playing a game of Skyrim, and like each save was a different person within Skyrim.
Dude,
But he kept on picking the human race when he could pick the cat people race or the night elf race.
I think I just aged 4 years.
if I was God and I created a whole like universe with things living in it, I would want to play I want to play a character in it.
Yeah.
Just like look
he played
around.
Jesus, right?
Oh yeah, he did play Jesus.
Well, that's technically, that was decided in the Nicene Creed, and that's the Trinity versus the Godhead.
Dude, someone just fucking tell me why they call him Jesus and then they also call Jesus God, please.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Okay.
Fuck.
Okay, so
Dane's like,
here we go. As
was
the
born for this moment.
residential Christian of the group. Here is, as far as I know, it took a little bit of seminary because my church was like, hey, you should do this, and I was like, fine. I never actually finished, but yeah. So basically, when Christianity was like first a thing, it was Jesus was like, love one another. Is Judaism, but like
did a couple miracles.
did a few miracles. He was like, yo, I'm died for all y'all sins. Pretty sick. You don't have to murder any animals now.
Is
for
Jesus a
sacrifice.
saint or is being son of God like a disqualifier for sainthood?
No, he's still technically
Wait,
saint.
that's why we sacrificed animals, was to like make up for our sins.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I don't know.
Sacrifice the midget on the street.
Don't the Muslims and the
What?
wait, don't
Gotta
the
make up for my
Muslims
sins.
don't the Muslims and the Jews still sacrifice shit?
I don't know.
Because I know
I sacrifice spiders probably every other day.
what is it called when all the Islamic people go to Mecca?
It's a
called?
pilgrimage.
Yeah, they
It's like a special name for
on
the
one
sacred
of the
pilgrimage,
days
yeah.
they have to kill a goat.
So I think so, yeah. It's because they're an Abrahamic religion. All Abrahamic religions are like, yeah, Jesus was a good dude, but two of them are just like, oh, he wasn't
The Son of God.
the Son of God.
I don't think he was that good of a dude.
Because I know like Islam Islam doesn't.
Hey,
think-
I never finished my point.
The whole,
Yeah.
masturbation is a sin thing.
All right, Dan,
He's
continue.
got built-in
Please continue.
fleshlights in his hands.
Please continue, Dan.
Shut. Oh my.
Dan, please continue.
I mean, you've already told that joke to me like 50 times, so it doesn't really affect me.
I did.
Yeah, I've already heard
Just
that
came
one.
up with.
Oh my God, Dan, I'm interested. Please just
Yeah.
tell me.
So, Christianity was the thing, and then Jesus died, and then some of his disciples were like,
Came back.
and then he came back. He was like, "Yo," and then he dipped out again. And then Mormonism is Jesus, Electric Boogaloo, goes to America. That's what Mormonism is. So, and then, all of his 12 disciples, Judas obviously was like, I can't live with this guilt. I'm gonna kill myself. So
He killed himself.
I'm pretty sure, or something like that, or he's murdered.
I mean, I
don't
would
know.
probably kill myself.
I mean, if I
If I was responsible for the savior of the human race to get crucified and then he came back,
I think it says how much money he was given for like,
yeah, it was like
30 silver.
nothing.
yeah, which is literally like a few bucks.
I only remember it was 30 silver because Ty and I's math for humanities teacher proved God existed mathematically, and one of the key points was the probability of someone betraying Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, which I said, how the fuck do you quantify that? And to which he said 1 in 10,000. So
Why 1 in 10,000?
I don't know. That's
Math
why
for
I
humanities,
asked.
man.
That's
It's-
why I asked. how
Maybe
you
he
can
based it
quantify
off of
that.
People only
population
take
at the
math for
time?
humanities because they don't want to take college algebra.
Fact.
Yes.
It's just an easier college algebra. No dissing, just facts. But, so basically, from my understanding, Jesus dies and his 12 disciples is like the only one. Paul, I think, made it to Rome, and all the rest of them died. And I don't know.
Paul was the first pope, right?
Yes, I don't know much about the history of Christianity. This is kind of like remembering back from like a push sophomore year. And then some from 7th grade history where
Yeah,
we talked
'cause
a lot about.
There's a distinction
part
between
of the time.
historical history and then religious history.
Yeah,
right?
but this is getting into historical history outside of religion. So then Paul, I think he makes it to Rome or to Greece or something, and he's like, yo, this is Christianity. Jesus. Oh, wait, no, they were already in Rome. Because that's.
No, they weren't. They were just in the. They were just in the Roman Empire.
Anyway,
between God and Jesus happens.
Yeah, so Christianity gets into the Roman Empire, but then they're like, yo, this is messed up. We don't want this. And then Constantinople comes up and he's like, yo, sweet. And now he's a Christian. He like sees the arm of God and he's like, yo, this is tight.
He
I'm a
moves
Christian now.
capital.
Yeah, first Christian Roman emperor, and then says, "Hey, you won't be killed if you're Christian now." So then they get the whole Pope thing, and then like the Catholic Church really gets involved into the Roman Empire, and then they say, "Hey, this Bible thing is pretty tricky. I don't really know what it's saying half the time." So they sit down, and this is the Nicene Creed, where they look and go through the Bible and say, "I think this is what this is." So, and that's where the Trinity came from, where they decided that rather than Jesus Christ, God, and the Holy Ghost being three separate entities, they are one singular entity that can exist in multiple different
But he's still
states.
canonically the Son of God, so
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's that's what Catholics believe, and they believe that Mary is like some holy figure as well. Because
Yeah, she technically saint? Is our nun
yes,
saint?
she's a saint.
Yeah.
um
Well,
gets
that's what
confusing.
Catholics believe. Because Catholics, if
Yeah.
you're Catholic, you believe in saints, right? And if you're just like normal Christian, you don't believe in the saints.
Yes.
few things.
Although there are I think there are saints in Protestant religions, like they can
Yeah.
signify saints or reverence.
Few little points here.
Yeah.
Math for humanities. We learned to count Egyptian, so
Okay.
don't ever tell me it was time wasted. Second thing. Jesus. Did
Yeah.
he move the rock?
What rock? The rock
The
in front
one
of his tomb?
in the cave.
Okay, so from the Bible, how that happens is there were two guards standing guard at Jesus' tomb, and then they actually wrapped the whole thing, I think, in like wax and stuff to keep it there. Like it wasn't just like a rock. I think they put a bunch of stuff. And then an angel came down and was like, hey. And then the two guards, pissed themselves and ran away. And then the angel moved the rock.
Okay.
So
Third thing. Jesus died and came back to life, and Lazarus was like, "Want to see me do it now?" That was
No, Jesus did that before.
I think he did that.
why I said Lazarus after. You just said Jesus
Oh,
before.
he got the idea from-
and I also said Jesus before.
Yeah.
Oh.
I also think Lazarus is a tight name. Like that's a
Yeah.
sick name.
Easter
Lazarus.
homie.
Yeah.
He was a zombie.
Don't Jews believe that like they believe there's like a
They believe in some AI called God.
no, they believe in the prophet that's gonna save humanity, and then Jesus came along and they were like, it's not him.
Well, the reason I think, from my understanding, we have the Christian and the Jew in the room, but Jesus comes
Is that
down.
a sitcom?
The Christian and the Jew. It's just made by the same people who made Big Bang Theory. It'll just
Oh,
be incredible.
God.
Yeah.
No, I'd prefer if it was made by the people who wrote Third Rock.
Somebody would come in and say, "Oh my God," and then they'd say, "Don't say the Lord's name in vain," and then just obscene amounts of laugh track would play for 50 minutes, and then the episode would end. That's what an episode of Christian and the Jew would be like. So, but what was the question?
Don't
There wasn't a
Jews-
question.
Don't Jews believe that
Oh
the
yeah,
Savior is supposed to come, but
So-
it's not Jesus?
yeah. So it's Israel. It's the city of Israel. But yeah. So I'm losing my train of
When-
thought like
but-
crazy.
Oh yeah, no, this
No.
is what they believe in. If when the Savior comes, that's when the rapture happens.
Yeah, so that, and then also they were like, our Savior is going to come down and be super great and glorious, and then he comes down in like a manger and like off of Bethlehem, and they're like, oh,
Oh yeah.
that's kind of lame. That can't be him.
Oh
Dude,
my
I
God.
can't wait till the rapture.
Do you guys see what's happening to Nate? His eyes are glowing and he's floating off the ground.
Whoa.
What the fuck? There's a sword coming out of his mouth.
Should we grab it?
Holy shit.
I think that is a signal for us to step away from the religious aspects now and move to a different
Yeah,
conversation.
Nate's ascending. It's kind of scaring me.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna usurp the throne as the Lord of the Earth. So, yeah, the election's pretty crazy.
It's an opera. I stayed
Yeah.
up till 3:00 last night following the
I did
polls.
too. I shouldn't have. Oh, I know we're not supposed to
don't
talk
care.
about movies, but I watched the movie Election last night because it was election day. and it was really good. It's got the dude from Ferris Bueller, and it also has that one chick who some actress lady, I can't remember her name, but really good movie. I'd highly recommend it. But it's got Ferris from Ferris Bueller in it. It's
Dude,
great.
this election, this whole fucking year has been. This is a year for the ages.
Yeah,
We're gonna look back at 2020 and be like, holy shit.
we're in the
No.
history books.
I think we're gonna look at 2020 and be like, "That's the start." Fuck, because everyone likes to do this thing where they say, "Oh my god, this year was so bad. Next year's gonna be better."
no. I don't even think 2020 is bad. I just think it's like 2020 is such a significant year because so much shit happened this year that it's almost hard to forget how much shit happened. Like, we're gonna look back and be like, wow, that was such an important year.
I think it's funny when older people are like, I don't remember anything happening like this when I was young. It's like, well, it was just different.
What the fuck are you talking about? Civil rights movement was around when you were young.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I think it's funny when people
Cold
are like,
War too.
I think it's funny. I've seen, like, you get all the political stuff where it's like, my dad, who hasn't voted his entire life, decided to vote for this time. Vote for Biden or whatever. And then it's like, well, he was alive during the civil rights movement. Like,
Yeah.
I
It's like that picture of that lady holding a poster. She was like, "I've been alive for 70 years and I've never once protested until now." And it's like an anti-Trump thing. And then the caption under it is like, okay, so civil rights movement, any feminist movement.
yeah, Reagan era.
What I was thinking about is what year in comparison to 2020 was so significant in like scope and scale.
honestly, and like affecting the modern
probably
era.
like 1936, 1914.
No, I'm not talking.
Yeah.
No, the most recent one. Like the most.
The most
Honestly,
recent
probably
year
not-
is 2020.
No, I meant the most.
Honestly, probably the market crash in 2008, because not only did that affect us economically, like psyche-wise, it affected people to be more like,
B movie.
yeah, what? Be what?
What about
You said
2000?
B.
What about 2001?
Yeah, 9/11 as well.
Like everybody talks about like everything was so different before 9/11. Like
Yeah.
post 9/11 world.
Yeah,
I remember where I was on 9/11.
I was a little baby.
I
I
was
was
in.
sucking on my mama's tit.
Yeah,
yeah.
boy.
So we've grown up in a post 9/11 world.
Yeah.
So we literally have no idea how it was.
We are the last, not generation, but the last age group.
We're like the
to-
firstborn.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we weren't born after 9/11, but we're the first to be born and then grow up into a society
Yeah.
that's like post 9/11.
It's basically like if we were to say like I was a 9/11 kid, which would be kind of a weird thing to brag about. It would be like us saying if you're born in like 1999 and saying, "Oh, I'm a 90s kid." Like, no, you weren't. So, weird comparison.
yeah,
But
eat Dane's cock. Fake 1990s kids.
dude, I have so many friends who are like a year older than me saying, "Oh, I'm a 90s kid."
Shut the fuck.
No, you aren't.
You're
What?
early
Name one
2000s.
thing that you remember from the 90s that I don't. Animaniacs. You watched clips about that on YouTube and were like,
In
oh, I
2000, yeah,
remember
in,
that.
like 2011.
I had a VHS player. Yeah.
Everyone in this room's had a VHS.
Everybody, yeah. I can name like every movie I had on VHS because we had like 4. Because
That's why I say like our generation is like the pseudo 90s, pseudo 2000s.
yeah, especially if you have older siblings.
Oh
Our
yeah.
generation's weird.
Eh,
We're like millennials have an issue about having been fucked
Yeah.
because of everything that happened. And then we are like the aftermath and things are starting to get better. But
Shut up. We're trying to be optimistic here.
like social media is like plaguing us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world is just so fucking confusing.
They say that our generation might be overly optimistic because you have the doomers
Yeah. And then you have the Zoom.
and then you have this TikTok zoomers
I think
where it's like,
we just have a media economy of outrage.
Yeah, but that won't last forever.
I don't think, well, it's the new
think it-
form of media, but it won't
It has
last
the
forever.
potential to last
It won't
forever.
last.
Hey,
Forever.
thank William Randolph Hearst for that, creating proto-yellow journalism.
Well, I mean, like, think of like any echo chamber website. Those are only going to get more echo chambery over time.
Dude.
Yeah.
So I do think it could last forever.
In my electronic media class, we had to do a study about like the effects of social media on more particularly our generation. And our generation, if you just look at straight numbers, has the worst suicide rate, the worst depression rate, and the worst anxiety rate.
By worst, do you mean low or high?
High.
Okay. I thought you were saying like we aren't killing ourselves enough. We got to pump those numbers up.
Is it working?
Like we have the worst rates for those illnesses of any generation that has ever been studied.
That doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me.
No, yeah. What do you think?
Well,
here's the question. Is
For
it-
one, we live in a point in time where people know that shit exists.
Yeah.
You know, you go back
That's true.
110 years ago,
That's
and
true.
you go through a crazy ass war, and they say, "Shut the fuck up,
No, but-
baby."
Yeah, okay, for mental illness, but look at a statistic like suicide. Like I'm
Right.
sure we studied that thoroughly throughout the times.
Yeah,
Like,
and then we
Yeah.
made it illegal
Yeah, it is illegal to kill yourself, which I think is
because you're evading taxes.
awesome.
That's
Yeah,
not a
IRS.
joke.
or you're just taking
Please.
your life, and maybe the government thinks you should value that.
No, it's murder, and you're not paying taxes.
Yeah, murder. The only reason we
And
the
if
only
you're
reason,
religious, you go to
the
hell.
only reason murder is illegal is because we value human life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but murdering yourself is only a problem because you're not paying taxes anymore.
You said two separate things though: murder and avoiding taxes.
They're not
They
making
just
only reason-
justify it with
The
murder.
only reason we legalized.
They justify it with murder. I'm not saying they actually believe that. You can justify something without believing in it. I do it all the time by saying people should value their rights.
I'm pretty sure more people value human life than they do people paying taxes.
Hey.
The government doesn't. We're just the numbers of the government. Are you kidding me?
Thanks a lot for Social Security making that into an ID card rather than just for insurance purposes. That's pretty awesome.
Dude, this country's doomed.
Yeah. Hey, we can't be on top forever. No, we like.
You've explained this.
Yeah, I know we've already
We,
talked about
we
this.
bully the entire world, and I think they're kind of over it.
Yeah.
So
It just.
Kind of base.
I hope it's not China.
I think we just need to annex every other country and make them a part of America, and then we won't be bullying the other
that won't
parts of
last
the world.
either, though. Because
All we've got to do is just change its name from America to something different and say, "Hey."
have you
Like
seen
the United Nations.
or NATO?
Yeah.
That's what I like to
But
hear.
NATO is literally our best shot at keeping power.
Didn't one of our presidents like form NATO?
Yes.
Yeah.
He established the idea for it, but then pretty much Europe made it.
No. Europe made the European Union.
Yeah.
We made NATO.
We did not make.
It's
NATO.
called the North Atlantic Treaty
It was.
Organization.
I thought it was.
because it
Lon-
includes
I'm
us.
pretty
Yeah.
sure.
It was
Yeah, I know.
FDR, wasn't it?
I'm
I think
pretty
FDR died before that.
No,
yeah, and
it
then
was-
I
Because he
think it was-
died
the prime
close to the end
minister
World
of
War One-
England.
or World
Yeah.
War II.
I don't think
was his
Truman's was it Truman?
The guy during World War II.
What, Truman or
Churchill.
FDR?
Yeah,
Yeah, Churchill got bodied out of power like right after World War II ended because everyone hated him, but they just knew he was good for wartime.
Yeah.
What
Who's the
I
guy after him then?
no fucking idea.
I don't know
'cause
who the
cares
prime
about
ministers
Britain?
are. Yeah.
But I'm
Um,
pretty sure European established NATO first, and then America was like,
No,
No, it was,
was-
FDR, and then FDR dies.
Europe
yeah.
established the Allies.
Mm-hmm.
We joined the Allies because before that we were like, "Yo, isolationist policy. I don't want to talk to anyone."
Well, we
And then we became a global superpower.
We
and we
made
were
the
like,
League of
okay, we
Nations,
have to. Yeah, but we weren't a part of it.
yeah, exactly. Europe followed.
The League of Nations is not NATO.
I know, but the League of Nations was the precedent to start something like NATO.
The League of Nations was the president to start the UN,
Yeah.
which is different from NATO.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
NATO was started by America because we were like, yo, we can't just let the commies do shit,
Yeah.
and we're a world power, so we can't afford to sit here and be isolationist because then we'll get nothing done.
Didn't Truman, Truman was the next in line, right?
Yeah,
the
Truman
vice
after
because
FDR? Yeah.
FDR died, and then the United States government was like, Truman, we have nuclear bombs. You need to say we can drop them on Japan.
Yeah.
And then he said, okay.
Yeah. But didn't Truman not sign to join NATO? Like, we formed it and we were like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I think that's how
I
it
don't
went.
think so.
Maybe that was.
I think you're thinking of
Woodrow Wilson.
League of Nations.
Yeah, because
Woodrow Wilson.
Oh,
And it wasn't like that. Woodrow Wilson was like, yo, guys, I've got this great sham. It's called self-determination, and we'll use that to justify breaking up other countries into smaller countries and call it self-determination, even though those smaller countries didn't determine that for themselves. Also, let's do it. And I'm going to go tell Congress about it. And so what's his name? Wilson comes back to America and Congress says, we didn't say you could do that. America's not joining the League.
Oh yeah,
of Nations.
Woodrow Wilson was one of the most corrupt presidents we've ever had in American history.
Yeah, he also destroyed the gold standard, so I fucking hate him.
Yeah.
And
need to get
he
that
created the whole idea of self-determination, which was an abortion of the idea of self-determination. So great job, Wilson.
He was also extremely authoritarian and likely racist.
Well, if
The
we're
racist
talking-
part doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, the racist part. If we're talking about literally any president pre-60s, I'd be like, yeah.
What about Lincoln?
He was
He was
racist.
racist.
Yeah.
He wasn't like entirely racist.
He was
He
racist,
was less
but his whole
racist
thing was
for
like,
the
the
time.
standard of the time, he was considered not racist.
Yeah.
he just made the political move because he thought that was the best for the nation.
Yeah. Because
No, he made the
first
political
era,
move because England and France were like, we're going to back the South, but if we make this war about slavery, then they'll stay out of the war. And then he made it about slavery, and then they stayed out of the
I'm
war.
pretty sure they were going to back the South until Bismarck was like, yo, no one should touch America. Here's why. And then they were like, wow, Bismarck, that's pretty epic.
One of the main reasons we
Otto
made
von
the war about slavery was because we were scared that outer influences were going to help the South.
yeah.
Yeah. And then Bismarck was like, no, don't.
Yeah. Bismarck's tight.
But it was
Bismarck
overall, it was a war about slavery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. No one was arguing about that.
He was worried about states. Well, no, there are people arguing about it.
Well, I
People
mean,
saying
in this
it's worried
room.
about
Yeah, there are
states. Yeah,
people
in this
arguing.
room.
I was meaning in this room.
Oh, so the other day, were you in the car with us, Ty, when we were driving to Slow and we saw that 3-mile long Trump parade?
I saw that when I was driving to work once.
Oh, it might have been the same day. Yeah, I think it was the same day. Yeah, but I think I went to Slow with, I think it was with Nate and Carter, but we saw this huge 3-mile long Trump rally on the parade, literally like lined by police cars, like one in the front, one in the end, so like nobody else got in. But I saw funny Snapchat stories of one of them where it was like people that I know who lived in Portland during like the protest and were super Antifa were like in the middle of the parade somehow, like they somehow got in and they were like, we want to be here. And I thought that was funny. But
You know,
but I saw one Confederate flag and I was like, wow, nice.
yeah. You know,
God,
Only one though. I'm surprised.
Jesus.
I don't care what politician you support. Stop holding your banner up in the middle of the fucking street, please. I almost hit someone with my car because they thought it was a great idea to stand like in the bike lane as close to the like car lane as possible with their Trump banner. Like, I don't.
Stop doing that.
I hate both.
You're not going to convince me
Dude, I
by holding your sign.
I fucking hate both the sides in this
Bro.
country.
Base take.
Like, I know it's like I vote Democrat because I think they are morally they're both immoral, but I think the Democrats are a little bit more moral, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
But I fucking hate this country.
Yeah.
Like,
But we're
I
also
don't,
kind of sick.
I don't hate this country because we do a lot of good things as well, but
We just live in we live in a time of great change.
I just want the world to like us again.
The world never liked us.
The world liked us.
Yeah.
No, we
Well, I mean-
started out with Europe hating us because they're like, you don't have the right to rule that territory. And the only one backing us up was Morocco. And then like
That's funny.
fucking any involvement we've had with like any other country that really mattered at the time, we were just like, hey, fucker,
about after-
we just bombed our own ship and it's Spain's fault. So we're taking Cuba
That was,
now.
What about
That
after
was-
World War II,
yeah.
where we literally fucking won the war for Europe?
Well, we
But,
didn't win the war for Europe.
we-
We helped a lot, but we didn't win the war for Europe. And that was the only time they've liked us.
Yeah.
Well, they should be fucking thanking us for that, dude.
That's the American
they-
idea of like they should be thanking us, but it's like, oh.
It's like, do they want?
Yeah.
Would they have rather Russia fucking gone in and taken over fucking everything?
I would have. Then they would have all starved already, and we could have colonized Europe.
That's what I like to hear. That rocks.
Reverse
I
colonization.
always
is the
forget that
dream.
Israel's political views are so weird.
Hearts of Iron be like,
Oh yeah, how you were talking about like if America had a giant empire, have you ever looked at the history of giant empires and
Yeah,
Earth?
they fall apart.
They
It's epic.
collapse all the time.
I know.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
That's why you need to create something like Ingsoc, where it's literally impossible for it to collapse.
too big to fail.
So like the entire world.
No. Did you read 1984?
Well, here's the thing, is
It's 3 countries that rule the world.
yeah,
Oh.
but
And they're constantly at war all the time.
the way to do it,
Okay, that doesn't solve the problem because the whole
Yeah, it
point.
does, because you conscript everyone who can revolt into the army to continuously fight, so no one can ever revolt.
mm-hmm.
It's pretty brilliant.
Sounds
Yeah.
horrible though.
It is.
Yeah, it's a dystopian
Yeah,
future. So
Yeah, we're never
1984 is a good
gonna.
book.
There
Oh,
will
that's
be a point though where Earth is completely taken over by one power.
yeah,
Theoretically,
it'll probably be
yeah.
aliens.
Yeah,
I think at one point we're going to come
Or to
into
be
contact
reversed.
with aliens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And aliens are going to have whole planets under their belt. And that's going to be like a nation to a planet, or a nation to aliens is like a group of planets. And we're going to realize, okay, fuck. We need a world government and we need to colonize other planets.
Yeah, it's when you enter the game.
Well, I think if something like crazy like aliens came to Earth and we're like, oh yeah, we have an entire galactic federation, that would be like, okay, everyone on Earth, we need to get our shit together.
You know, I have a few thoughts about aliens coming into contact with humans, right?
They already have probably.
And one thing, because I was talking to a friend about this, because he's all about, morals in warfare, and the Geneva Convention is epic. And I said, dude, in any fight that ever mattered, like, so much, you would completely disregard all of that. Like, if aliens came down here, we wouldn't give a fuck about humanely killing them.
No.
We would gas aliens. Like, we would do anything we could
Yeah.
to protect Earth.
That's the thing about the
aliens-
Geneva Convention is like, if you want to win war, you just don't pay
The thing
attention.
about Geneva Conventions is it's there to punish the loser.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is. I like the Geneva Convention because if I ever get conscripted for any reason ever, I'd like not to get gassed. That's pretty epic.
Yeah.
But it's
like the idea
pretty
of
much
that.
there to say
feel
fuck
like-
you to the loser.
I feel like aliens probably have been to Earth and talked like had contact with humanity, but now we have fucking nukes and super. And we have really good technology now, so they're probably looking at us from afar and being like, "Okay, these guys are getting a little fucking insane now."
There's this alternate history series where I can't remember what it's called, but it's about aliens invading in the middle of World War II, right?
Nice.
So the thing is the aliens were really far away. And when they looked at Earth through a telescope, because it takes so long for light to get there, they're seeing
Yeah.
Earth in the past. So they look at the telescope and they see, oh, shit, there's like dinosaurs and shit. Okay, cool. And then they get closer and they look and they're like, oh, life's evolved a little bit. They're in their medieval ages. But hey, it took us thousands of years to get out of our medieval ages. So by the time we get there, they should still be in their medieval ages. And then they get there and they land in Germany in the middle of World War II and they start invading and they're like, what? Wait a second. And because like the whole thing is, even though the aliens are way more advanced than we are advancing our technology way faster than the aliens ever did.
Yeah.
So that's like our advantage. And our other advantage was that we could resupply easily, but if they wanted to get more resources,
Yeah.
they would have to ship it from their planet to Earth. right?
Yeah.
So the whole thing was like the entirety of Earth unites in a guerrilla warfare effort to fight against
The alien
the
invaders.
aliens.
The aliens.
And it's so cool because it's like FDR, Hitler, Joseph Stalin, and Churchill are all in a room, and they're like, okay, we need to super develop nuclear weapons. So they had like the German scientists and American scientists working on nuclear weapons so we could fight back against the aliens. And then at some point, because the aliens landed in Germany, like, holy shit, and they just got massacred by the Germans. Because the Germans at the time just had like way crazy military tech,
Yeah.
especially compared to the rest of us.
They had
So
jet planes by the end of the war.
they
Yeah,
were the
they
first
picked
people, yeah.
the worst place to land, right? And they ended up conquering a few spots, and then they would get pushed out, And whenever they were getting pushed out, they were getting pushed out by German forces. So Germany was just taking that territory. So at the end of the war, Hitler was like, "Sorry, Italy. I guess it's just mine now," and took all of Italy. And France was like banished to like a few little islands around the
guys,
world,
my
right?
taint smells like.
And the aliens were just like, we like it hot, so we're annexing Australia, and this is going to be our vacation home for alien races. Because we had to start
This is a real book.
yeah, we had to start
awesome.
doing like diplomatic meetings with the aliens because it basically came to a stalemate, and we had to break a peace deal at some point. It's pretty cool
Why didn't we just fucking kill them all before they resupplied?
because it was a stalemate. And
Oh,
couldn't.
here's a cool fun fact.
They would eventually take over.
Is,
us.
radio waves are light waves, right?
Yeah.
So they travel at the speed of light, transitive property. And we've been using radio waves since World War One was when I think
thought
so.
the first radio transmission technically was.
I think the first TV transmission was Hitler.
I'm disabled.
No,
the
I know the first radio transmission.
The
that
one
was
that
far-
went out
Feinstein.
into space was Hitler's speech.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah. So
The
they can.
Olympics or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And he talks about like pure blood and shit like that.
Yeah, so that's TV.
That sucks.
But with our radio waves, it's right now. It's been over 100 years since we've transmitted our first radio signals, and right now is about the first time that I think nearest galaxy is like 100 light years away or something like that.
yeah.
No.
Is it even farther than that?
Yeah, because I think a galaxy is like
Oh, not galaxy. Sorry, but
You mean
different
solar system?
solar system.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say a galaxy. I'm pretty sure is like by itself
Yeah.
billions of light years across.
Yeah. Well, there's the closest galaxy is Andromeda. I don't think it's 1 billion light years away, but it's
I think
definitely
it's 5 billion light
Isn't
years
it?
away.
Is this seriously?
Crashing into our galaxy at a rate like at
it's-
a
It's
going as fast as the speed of light.
not that fast.
It's not going as fast as the speed of
If it was going as fast as speed of light, it would literally I think it would just be glowing in this anyways. But yeah, so our radio transmissions are now reaching intergalactic planets. So if there's anything out there that can transmit radio signals, they can be like, "Hey, we can spot these people now. We know their exact location. Let's go
What if we
mess
get-
them up."
You know the
Well, 'cause we've-
Current Joy's album cover?
Yeah.
The lines. and
Yeah, the
shit?
lines, yeah.
That was a broadcast we got from space.
Yeah, we've gotten
Really?
a few
Yeah.
broadcasts from space.
But they think it was just a supernova exploding.
Yeah.
But one thing that would be really funny is if, it takes like say 200 years for our radio signals to reach anyone.
Yeah.
And they either have developed technology that is so advanced they never even use radio signals ever anymore, so they would never get it, or they get our radio signal and they try to reply and it takes 200 years to get back to us, and it's something we disregard as just random noise.
This breaks my brain, dude.
Yeah.
Wait, don't we have satellites that have radio signals on them that are projecting radio signals into space?
Yeah, I think so. Well, the problem is with a radio signal, if we receive one, it has to be non-repetitive, because if it's repetitive, that means it's or is it the other way around? There's something where it's like they found out that it has to be a certain criteria for it to be 100% for sure from an alien nation. Because if it isn't, because like a pulsar, when it moves, it goes like boom, 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 boom. So, it pumps out radio signals and we're able to pick that up. So we're able to identify that as not alien nation, but in fact, just like extreme amounts of energy hitting us randomly. And it has like a rhythmic sense. So I think it has to be sporadic for us to be like, wait, what is that? So,
Oh, so if it's rhythmic, it's probably something natural.
yeah.
I'm getting a transmission from space that says, "Thanks for listening to this episode of the CCTV podcast or CTTV podcast.
Yeah.
Please check out our other videos / podcast episodes and subscribe. And also check us out on Spotify."
Nate, send us off.
Did you just spill yogurt all over yourself?
Alrighty, Nate. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that one. That was really funny.
Yeah, I agree with that.
One more comment about the Middle East.
Okay.
I'm a.
Alright, we need to cut this guy off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
We
should
need to
cut that out.
We need to cut this guy off.
Out.
We need to cut this guy off.
Out.
We need to cut this guy off.
Out.
We need to cut this guy off.